the spirit of research and innovation in the field of IC engines, combustion and propulsions. Now, I would like to invite Dr. K. Devendranath Ramkumar, Dean.
Respected Chancellor Sir, our beloved VP Sir, Vice Chancellor Sir, Registrar Ma'am, our Chief Guest of this function today, Dr. N. Kalaichavi Ma'am, 7th National Conference on IC Engines and Combustions, NCI CEC 2022, and to welcome the participants who have come here to exchange their experience and work together a few days on the exciting field of IC engines and combustion. This conference is being organized by the Automotive CIIS. As we know, the automakers worldwide
Created visionary leader of this nation, Dr. V.T. Saraswat. And how are they going to take a kind of a change in the coming days? And what is it that we are supposed to do? Friends, we are all living in an era where changes are happening every now and then. Once upon a time, technology means we wanted every technology to be long-lived. They want the technology of today. They want the technology of tomorrow, but it should be made available today. That is the current expectation with which younger generation is coming up with. I would say it is not a good practice. So we are now living in one particular era wherein the technology should be thought beyond the scope and for which we need out-of-box thinking. And we already started thinking in this particular direction. It's good that country started thinking what are the changes which are required in this particular field. Dr. Vishwanathan ji was talking about India's strength in the field of automobile sector. Considering the population, yes, our contribution in the automobile sector should be the largest, but at the same time, we should find our fitness not only in the national scenario, but also in the global scenario. So knowingly, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, he has already signed in the COP 21, 22 and 26 agreements also, and therefore India has to reduce the carbon footprint, and we have to ensure, all of us should ensure that net zero carbon should be a practical reality in the year 2070. When the Honorable Prime Minister is making one kind of an agreement or kind of a statement, it is not his own statement. He makes that statement by taking all of us into the count, and therefore it goes without saying that it becomes the responsibility of every responsible citizen of this country to live up to the expectations of the national leader. And therefore, friends, IC engines are to be really understood by you in a very, very important way and with a kind of depth which is possible, because to move from one destination to another, understanding the present situation is very, very important. This is where today's conference is playing a very important role. I would say it is playing a paramount important role because they will make you to understand that what are the various roles or what are the significance of IC engines and how do they handle the conventional fuels and how it could be explored to manage the changes which are under plan right now, and in some cases we started even working in that particular direction. So now the buzzword today in the field of science and technology is hydrogen and green. Even though Vijaya is having 7 colors, I think the most adorable color of today is green. So everybody is talking about green energy and green mobility. So everywhere we want to insert many times the word green. Therefore, this Go Green strategy, this Go Green fashion, it has to be made in reality means we have to think about what are the changes which are expected to be implemented or to be thought about or to be encouraged with immediate effects. And friends, CSIR is one good organization, as all of you know, wherein we are having one vertical called energy, wherein we are having a wide distribution of both conventional as well as renewable energy. So when you talk about the conventional energy, yes, coal cannot be a forgotten story. Yesterday evening also I was talking to some of my good friends that coal cannot be a forgotten story at least for another 30 years, 3 decades. And sometimes it may go even up to another 5 decades also, I don't know. But by all means, by 2070 we have to make a net zero carbon as practical reality. And therefore, India is now abundantly blessed by coal, but the coal is having high fly ash content, and therefore you have to really make this coal as a clean coal. So how to make this clean coal is one challenge. So when you guys are going to talk about how does this IC engines are to be really moderated, I think you have to start from the supply chain. In India, every time we are so happy to get any technology which is developed by XYZ countries. Friends, this is high time we have to think about the strength as well as the need of indigenization. Would that country started talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, sustainable India, self-reliant India, make in India, made in India. So all these are not slogans. Please do understand. These are not slogans. These are the very, very important quotable quotes that we all should think about these points very, very carefully, because no longer we can depend upon any other country for any kind of a technology. And all of you are aware of the geopolitical situations of India. So considering the geopolitical reasons, this is high time we should arise, awake and stop not till our goal is reached in terms of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And therefore, be it coal or petroleum or any other fossil fuel, what is it that India can do in terms of indigenization and make it relevant for India's specific requirements? Friends, the requirements are not common across the globe. Countries are having different types of specifications and requirements to best suit with their own citizens. Therefore, whichever technology we buy from elsewhere, do we have the capability to indigenize it, to customize it for its India-specific version? There also, all of you, those who are sitting here as research scholars, as scientists and as faculty members, please put in your thought in that particular direction. So even if you want to use coal, just go with clean coal technologies. If you want to really go with the petroleum and conventional fossil fuels, yes, you go ahead. But the thing is, the requirement is, at least you can think about, like the way Dr. Vishwanathan ji was making a mention, sustainable aviation fuels. Yes, we are closely working with the different flying sectors. Already SpiceJet has demonstrated few demonstration flying hours with the biojet fuel of IIT Dehradun. And recently we have signed an MOU with Air India also. And IAF has already completed 65 flying hours with the biojet fuel. It is nothing but the biojet fuel was obtained from the cooked oil only. It's a used cooked oil, waste to wealth driven biojet fuel only. It acts as a sustainable aviation fuel. 65 flying hours has been completely successfully demonstrated. And we are now targeting for 200 flying hours. And I am hopeful and I am extremely confident that we will be able to complete these 200 flying hours also in the coming days. So these are completely conventional. Now we have a mid-member who is the hero. So it is nothing but hydrogen. So hydrogen, it is a middleman. This could be connected with the conventional as well as with the renewable energy also. Because from coal also now we are trying our level best to get hydrogen. And to what extent hydrogen could be really combined in different forms, because people started talking about the hydrogen and people are talking about hydrogen ICE, and to some extent we start thinking about to what extent onboard generation of hydrogen could be possible. Dr. V.K. Saraswatji was making a mention about onboard generation of hydrogen. So onboard methanol reformer, I know the company called Thermax is coming up with a number of successful demonstrations and technology leads with respect to this onboard generation. And you know, CSR is also working with a number of companies like Reliance, KPIT and Timax. And we are coming up with a number of success stories with respect to fuel cells also. And 3 years back, we already demonstrated and we even gifted one prototype of fuel cells to the Honorable President of this country. And recently, we successfully demonstrated 2 road shows wherein we just made it as a practical reality that fuel cell driven car could be a reality and fuel cell driven bus could also be a reality. So this is how you can consider hydrogen for its participation with the conventional as well as renewable energy. Therefore, what is it that we have to now think about is, even though we are working in a major way with fossil fuel, thanks to Dr. Christian, he just made one graph very elegantly. He showed that year 2030 is going to be a very, very crucial year in which you are having a 51-49 ratio. I think I should really appreciate Dr. Christian for giving that kind of a graph in this forum. He beautifully demonstrated that year 2030 is so very critical. We will be having 51-49 ratio. Afterwards, renewables is going to take the higher side of the peak. And therefore, now this is year 2022. It is high time we have to be very much aware of it. We have to prepare ourselves. The Honorable Prime Minister always says, and he always insists that, what is it, the kind of a preparedness you have for the next few decades? This is the question he normally poses whenever he happens to meet scientific fraternity. What is the kind of preparedness, whether it is energy or food or water or healthcare? You say any area. His first question is, his pointed question, his focused question to all the secretaries and all the ministries is nothing but, what is it that the kind of a preparedness with which you are now triggering the society to meet out or to face the upcoming few decades? Therefore, friends, from 2030 onwards, the scenario is going to be totally different, and therefore we have to get ourselves geared up with all those science and R&D related requirements from now onwards. And therefore this is high time to think about hydrogen. Again, hydrogen is a very interesting and a fascinating component. I normally used to say in a lighter mode, I think hydrogen could be now considered correlated, connected with all the colors of VIBGYOR. Now we are talking about blue hydrogen, grey hydrogen, pink hydrogen, brown hydrogen. Apart from that, we talk about green hydrogen also. So of all the hydrogens, which hydrogen is the required one is the green hydrogen. Then you will talk about, if you want to have this green hydrogen, what is the cost economics? Yes, people are talking about $5 per kg, $3 per kg, but the ideal situation, US Department of Energy is talking about that if you just make it as $1 per kg of hydrogen, that is the real commercially viable thing. I'm talking about the production cost of green hydrogen. And if you want to produce green hydrogen, yes, at least we have 2 minimum possibilities. You can think about PEM electrolyzer as well as AEMs also, alkaline electrolyte membrane electrolyzer also, anion exchange membrane electrolyzer also. So whether you use PEM or AEM, whatever it may be the thing, whichever way by means of which you are doing it, can you just integrate it with solar by means of which you can make it as a complete green hydrogen? Because I think I have to really thank Dr. Potpadam also. He gave me a number of points because e-mobility, will it be a reality? Like he was really provoking me. So now I think I'll come up with the answers in next 5 minutes. And I should also thank the one who introduced me. He said that I'm standing here as a windmill because when wind is blowing more, he said that we need a windmill. So I'm standing here as a windmill, as a symbol of renewable energy. So coming to this green hydrogen again, and whenever we are talking about batteries also, people always criticize that. How will you charge your battery? Where will you charge your battery? You will be using again electric current. Then how are you going to get the electric current? By producing electric current, again you are going to give some amount of carbon to the atmosphere. Therefore, to give an answer for all these questions, I think this solar energy is the need of the hour. And friends, please take these points very, very seriously and sincerely in our mind. I'm talking very openly because solar energy, even Dr. Saraswat ji also will completely agree with me because he as a leader only posed many times these questions to me also, including me also with many other leaders. When we are talking about this solar energy, how much is India's contribution? How much is the extent of indigenization? 100% indigenization need not be today's agenda, but at least more than 60%, more than 70% of indigenization should be the agenda. So in the case of solar energy, when all of us are talking about net zero carbon, we should not emit carbon. Therefore, what is it that we are doing with respect to renewable energy? In the case of solar energy, do we have some kind of a preparedness for indigenization? So what is it that India is doing with respect to solar energy? We are coming up with maybe 450 gigawatt hour renewable energy installation in the country. But all these installations, where are we getting from? Are we doing everything from India? Are we doing everything from the scratches in India? What is the kind of supply chain we have? Where do we have the raw material supply chain? Where do we have the commercialization supply chain? Where do we have maybe the post-establishment services? Many a times, we have a lot of dependence on other countries or the supplier from whom we are getting these solar panels. Therefore, this is high time. We have to strengthen that point, and only then we can think about whether it is a battery charging station or a swapping station, whatever it may be. We need electricity, and for every bit of electricity, we have to really depend upon this kind of a solar energy. And therefore, please focus more on this solar energy, especially for its indigenization component. Then comes the energy conversion, because hydrogen is nothing but it's a fuel, therefore it's a source of fuel. The moment you are able to do some amount of justification in terms of hydrogen, I'm sure country will definitely come up with a lot of success stories in the coming days, because CSIR has already announced our hydrogen mission. It's a more than 100 crore project. We already started working towards hydrogen, and MNRE is coming up in a very big way. X 100 crores of national hydrogen mission. It will be launched very soon. In addition, DST is also encouraging all those who are working in the country in the field of hydrogen, and therefore this kind of hydrogen mission is really giving, it is acting as a launching pad, and it is really giving us a lot of cushion, and we can leverage all our expertise in the field of renewable energy through this hydrogen mission. Now coming to again conversion, to what extent one form of energy can be converted into another form of energy, all of us should really think very seriously. Because we all know that law of conservation of energy is nothing but energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, whereas one form of energy could be converted into another form of energy. Therefore, when it comes to energy conversion, again, my heartfelt thanks to Dr. V.K. Saraswat, because with his great initiative, now country started thinking about Pan-India perovskite team. Dr. Saraswat only realized that energy conversion is also equally important. We cannot just stop ourselves with our energy generation alone. Energy conversion is also needed, and therefore recently he initiated Pan-India perovskite team, wherein number of organizations like IIT, IIC, CSIR, and very many institutes are also there. I think maybe VAT also can find a place because it is a Pan-India perovskite team initiative. So we have to really consider to what extent we can strengthen the energy management and energy audit of this country by means of working in a big way in the energy conversion area. Now comes the last sector, which is called energy. Really interesting questions I used to face. The moment I say I am from lithium batteries, first question is, every reporter will ask without any hesitation, first question will be, ma'am, you are from lithium batteries, what do you feel about battery fires? Friends, I will tell you, every technology will have initial hiccups. When electricity was introduced in the globe, initial days, we were totally afraid. We were really afraid of electricity. But today we are sitting on electricity knowingly. Wires are passing by. Now we know how to handle electricity. Even though electricity is known to give us shock, now we know how to manage electricity. This is nothing but living with electricity, managing the technology with all its plus and minus. Same thing is applicable to lithium battery related technology also. It is not a very mature technology, and therefore the understanding and the awareness is not that high. And therefore today, every time the moment I say lithium, two very hard questions is, one is battery fire, the second one is, where do you have lithium? So for these two things I will say, like every technology, slowly we will also understand how to manage lithium batteries, how to handle lithium batteries, how to live with lithium batteries, and how to augment lithium batteries for their safety related aspects. And therefore, days are not so far off. All of us will start celebrating lithium batteries, and one day we will say, I cannot live without lithium battery. But today itself I am telling, the fact is that we cannot live without lithium battery. Why? Because we are having one inseparable component with all of us, which is called the mobile phone. So this mobile phone is an inseparable organ or ornament of every one of us, which is powered by only lithium battery, and therefore lithium battery has to be really mastered by this country for its indigenization. Now coming to from where will you get lithium? Don't worry about the amount of lithium that is required for lithium battery, because the exact amount of lithium that is required for lithium battery is less than 0.2%. And don't worry about that lithium is a king and it is a major part. It is not so. It is only a player which is going between, it's a shuttling player between anode and cathode. That's all. It's a very tiny metal ion which is giving all these magics. Therefore, if we collect all the batteries that we are using today in the country, and if we are able to recycle, if at all we are able to recycle all the used batteries and get this extracted lithium for its second use, I think we can play a very lot more important roles, because energy could be created, converted and stored even by using waste to wealth attempt. So this is where all of us should really think about. And once upon a time, I do very well remember consciously, the scientific community, we all told the top level leaders of this country that India could be considered as the world's largest hub to consider waste to wealth driven technologies. Therefore, what is it that you as an young researcher, you as an upcoming leader in the field of science and technology can contribute in the field of energy? Please start thinking in all these directions. So more than me, you have all the experts in the field of IC engines. They will tell you the importance of combustion, IC engines, and how best they should be really modified in the coming days, and how they should be speculated with a kind of modern version in the coming days, by means of which, without disappointing any citizen of this country for his or her requirement in the coming days, science and technology should be able to say that, yes, we are here to take care of you for your every requirement. Nature has already blessed this country abundantly by means of resources, in terms of water, in terms of air, metal, material, everything is available. But how best we are going to manage, that is where the challenge lies, and that is where science and technology can also play a very vital role. And I really consider this conference is one such very important event.